Are you an emotional eater? Are you someone who cannot resist junk food and sweets no matter how hard you try? And is it ruining your health goals? Well, in this video, I'm going to be sharing some top tips on how to recognize emotional eating so that we can tackle it head on and find solutions to help us stay on track with our health and fitness goals. Now, before I dive into these tips, make sure to hit like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know every single time I upload a new diet tip or workout video. Hey, my name is Jenny J, and I'm an online fitness and nutrition coach with over 10 years of experience working in the health and fitness industry. I've helped thousands of people change their lives through my online workouts and challenges. And in this video, we're going to be talking about emotional eating and how to recognize it so that we can figure out ways to avoid this issue and help us stay on track with our health and fitness goals. You know, I dealt with this issue for pretty much my entire life. I was an emotional eater, a yo-yo dieter, someone who didn't have any control over my eating habits, and I would constantly turn to food to fulfill these emotions that I didn't know how to manage or cope with. And I found myself stuffing my face whenever I was lonely or exhausted from the day, or maybe I was just bored and restless and really had nothing else to do. And so this is a common issue that I see with many of my nutrition clients and people who I work with on a day-to-day basis. Emotional eating can really take over our entire lives. So often we find ourselves turning to food not to nourish and fuel our bodies, but to fulfill these emotional needs that we may have. We are emotional eaters when we're happy, we're sad, we're discouraged or depressed. Maybe you're lonely or bored, or you just want to relax from a stressful work week. Emotional eating is pretty much relevant in all of our lives. And this is a huge problem because if we don't get control over it, we're going to continue to overeat. We're going to continue to eat more calories than we need to, and we're going to not be able to stop this issue, especially if we are overeating highly processed food with tons of sodium or salt and tons of sugar. We're less likely to stop because these sugars and these foods that are highly processed are very addictive, and they have empty calories, which means we're trying to fill our body with this nutrient-dense food, but we turn to processed junk instead, and so our brain never gets that signal that we're ever full or that we're ever satisfied, so we keep binge eating and keep overeating these foods, and it becomes this self-perpetuating loop. We cannot stop if we don't get under control with this issue. Now, there is such a thing as being an emotional eater, eating junk food, bad food, and then eating healthy food. When you are trying to lose weight, it doesn't matter if it's healthy or junk food. If you are in a calorie surplus, which means you're eating more energy or more food than your body can burn that day, you will gain weight and you won't see the results that you want. So I'm going to be sharing some solutions that you can do starting today to help you recognize this pattern before it gets out of control. Now, before I dive into those tips, comment below and let me know what causes your emotional eating. Are you one to cave in late at night because you're bored and got nothing to do? Or is it because you are out with friends on a weekend and you just want to reward yourself and you feel so good? Either way, let me know what causes your emotional eating in the comments below. Tip number 1 is to create an emotional eating journal. This is a practice that I encourage all of my nutrition clients to do. And what it helps us do is to bring awareness of the emotions that we're feeling before, during, and after an overeating episode. So what I would suggest is grab a journal or maybe take out your phone and think about the emotions that you're feeling maybe 1 or 2 hours before you actually eating that thing. And then record how you actually feel eating that thing. And then shortly after, how do you feel after eating that thing? So for example, let's say you tend to overeat chips at night. So right before you go into the pantry and you want to grab that bag of Takis or Frito-Lays or whatever chips that you love, What emotions are happening in your body right now? Are you feeling a sense of boredom? Are you stressed? Did you just get in a fight with your significant other? Or are you just restless? You have nothing else to do. Are you feeling a sense of hunger, or is it more of an emotional cue rather than a hunger cue? And then the moment you start eating those chips, how are you feeling? Are you feeling satisfied? Does it actually give you a sense of relaxation or happiness? Or are you feeling a sense of guilt or shame because you know you're not hungry, but you're eating it anyways? And then after you eat those chips, how do you feel? Do you feel good in your body, or do you feel a little worse? Understanding and recognizing these emotional cues will start to bring awareness to the patterns that cause you to emotionally eat. And once you take a good record, let's say 7 days of just tracking your emotions every single time you eat, you're gonna start to identify patterns and behaviors and then work towards finding solutions for those emotional needs. Then tip number 2, which kind of segues from tip number 1, is to practice HALT, H-A-L-T. And it's an acronym to basically halt yourself before you decide to go into the pantry or go into the kitchen to eat that thing. Are you hungry, angry, or anxious, lonely, or tired? So you want to practice and recognize those emotional cues. Are you hungry? Are you angry, anxious? Are you lonely, or are you tired? And figuring out, okay, is this an emotional cue or is this an actual hunger cue? That's going to help you kind of stop in your tracks and figure out another solution to fulfill those needs that aren't hunger. Tip number 3, now if it isn't hunger, and you are trying to fulfill an emotional need other than hunger, can you find different solutions that will help you stay on track with your health and fitness goals and not derail you by overeating? So if you're angry, is there another activity that you can do to manage that stress or cope with that anger? Can you talk to a friend? Can you go to therapy? Can you do a really hard workout to relieve that stress? Or let's say you're happy and you want to reward yourself. Is there another activity that you and maybe your friends on the weekends can do that promotes a healthier lifestyle rather than eating chips and wings and beer all day? Or maybe you are lonely or you're depressed. Is there another way that you can seek to fulfill that need? Maybe call a friend or join a support group or connect to your family and your friends to give you that satisfaction of feeling like you're loved and you have that company. Many times we want to go to food to satisfy these feelings, but food will never satisfy those feelings. So it's important to start to dissociate those feelings from food and figure out healthier alternatives that are going to help you in the long run. Tip number 4 is to actually know when you're feeling hungry. We have become so dissociated with our hunger cues because we are so reliant or dependent on emotional cues or maybe times of the day. We just eat at certain times because that's when we know we're supposed to feed ourselves. But we forget to ask, are we hungry? So I'm going to propose a few different questions to you to kind of figure out if you're actually hungry or if this is just another emotional or environmental cue. So as far as asking yourself if you're hungry, can you eat anything, or are you just craving a certain food? Are you craving chocolate or something salty or something crunchy? Or are you actually hungry and you can eat pretty much anything? If you feel like you can pretty much eat anything, whether that's just plain old chicken breast or, a cookie, that's a good sign that you're probably hungry. Did you just have a big workout? Many times we need to fuel ourselves right after a workout because we've expended or used a ton of calories, so we need to fuel ourselves, and that's a good sign of a hunger cue. Another question to ask yourself is, has it been a few hours since your last meal? If it's been about 1 hour after you've had a big meal, that's probably an emotional cue. But if it's been about 3 to 4 hours, yeah, you can probably think that that's a good sign that it's time to start eating. Questions to ask physically. Is your stomach grumbling? Is your brain starting to kind of become fatigued, or are you starting to have low energy? Are you not able to concentrate or focus on your work or school studies? These are all physical signs that probably mean it's time to eat food. So I hope these tips helped you to recognize emotional eating, and I hope that you can walk away with one tip that you can start implementing in your daily routine so that you can get on track with your weight loss goals or your fitness goals and be able to find different solutions for your emotional eating cues. If you like this video, like or comment below and let me know which tip resonated with you most. As always, I post a new diet tip or workout video every single week, so you can check out these videos here if you want more. Also, I do have a free sample meal plan, so in case you are looking for new recipes to help you along your fitness journey, I am providing the link down below in the comments to download your free sample meal plan. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.